You personally, do you blame Putin for this attack, this attempted poisoning?
Yeah, I agree with the Prime Minister. I agree completely with the Prime Minister. What she said is that Russia is culpable either by direct commission, either Putin's ordered this, or they've lost control of their supplies.
So just to be clear, she has now backed away from the thesis that they've lost control. She is holding him personally responsible.
Yeah. Well,
but you're not agreeing with her.
No, I do agree with her. I agree. She's repeated that statement 3 times now. He is responsible. Whichever way you look at it, he is responsible, and all the evidence points to him.
Look, but hang on a second. There are degrees of culpability. She is saying that he is culpable because it's an act of aggression on British soil by the Russian state. She has broadly dismissed the idea that somehow this has got, that some rogue elements have got hold of this.
Well, the point about that is we have to demonstrate to the international community the evidence for that, and then we can build that coalition. Look, you may remember this, like back in 2006, I campaigned for Anna Politkovskaya when she got killed, the journalist. I was secretary of the NUJ. There have people been murdered on a regular basis. Anyone who opposes the regime or who exposes the corruption, they've been murdered systematically. This has been going on for years.
So just to be clear and unambiguous on this, unlike the Chief of Strategy for Jeremy Corbyn, Seamus Milne, you have an unambiguous view that Putin is a dangerous and bad leader.
That's exactly what we've all said, and you mentioned Seamus Milne. That's exactly what he said as well. He's repeated time and time again that we support exactly what the Prime Minister said, and we condemn Russia for this, condemn them. I believe this is a pattern of behaviour we've seen. As I said, way back in 2006, I was flagging this up and have done on campaign after campaign. Jeremy, way back in 1999, actually, on Chechnya, led the campaign of condemning Putin about what he was doing, murdering people in Chechnya then.
But what do you think is more likely? OK, let's put it this way. What is more likely, that this was either ordered by Putin and a part of his machine, or that they simply lost control of this awful nerve agent and somehow the mafia or some rogue element got hold of it? What's most likely?
Well, I think it's important that we base our judgments on the evidence.
Where does the evidence direct?
It's important that we base this on the evidence. But there's a pattern of people being murdered here.
So?
So therefore it leads you to the conclusion that Putin has questions to answer, because this is highly likely this could be a state execution. But what we don't do in this country is that we don't lead to conclusions without the evidence. And what we're saying to our international partners, working with the chemical weapons inspectors as well, working with Porton Down, we've got to now produce, we will now produce the evidence that leads us to a judgment that they can rely upon. In that way, we can effectively build the coalition. If we leap to conclusions without the evidence, it will undermine the ability to build that international coalition. So therefore, the point that Jeremy was making the other day is we have to be careful how we handle this if we're going to be really effective in tackling Putin and the barbaric acts that his regime is undertaking.
Now, Seamus Milne, as I'm sure you know, told journalists that there were reasons to mistrust what the intelligence services were saying about this because they'd got it wrong in Iran. Do you agree with that?
No, what he said...
No, I was there. I heard him say it. It is what he said.
What he was saying is how you interpret the evidence, and that's the most important thing. Whatever evidence is there, it's how you interpret it. The key thing now is we agree with the Prime Minister. Whatever happens, Russia is responsible for this.